Okay, this is problem number 2 on practice problems 3. I accidentally cut off the last video. Don't worry about that. Here is problem number 2. Okay, a project has a required return of 14.25%. The project's annual cost, initial cost is $13,000, and the cash flows are $3,800 for year 1, $8,000 for year 2, $5,000 for year 3. What is the project's IRR? Remember, internal rate of return is the percentage rate at which all future cash flows equal 0. So you get to use the cash flow function again. Then we'll break out the calculator, turn it on. Let me adjust the screen a little bit. Okay, so cash flows. Remember, okay, second FV, declare time value of monies. Second CF, get you to cash flow. It was already on there. Then you want to hit second clear to clear all cash flows, because remember, it stores all the old numbers. And then second CE again, just to clear all work. Okay, so what they're saying is your initial investment on this was $13,000. Remember, we're talking cash flows. So if your initial investment is $13,000, that's $13,000 out of your pocket. So that's a negative cash flow for year 0. If you're getting cash flows back in year 1 and 2, that money that's coming to you, those are positive. But if for some reason you're having to pay back in year 1 or year 2, those become negative. You can actually have negative cash flows. In this case, most of them are positive after the initial investment, which is CF0. Okay, so we have 13000 negative, enter. Okay, so we'll go to cash flow 1. So this is the first cash flow, which was $3,800. 3800. Remember, hit the enter key and then down, and it's asking you the frequency. There's just one of those. And then the second was $8,000, 8000. Now if I hit the down key, it goes to F02, the frequency, but notice it's 0. That tells you you forgot to hit the enter button with your cash flow. So hit the up arrow, okay, and then go back to that and put 8000, 8000, enter. Hit the down arrow. Frequency is 1, that's fine. Cash flow 3 is $5,000, 5000, enter. Down frequency is 1, that's fine. Now there's no fourth cash flow, so now we hit IRR. It's asking for the rate that we require for that. 14.25 is what the problem told us. Remember, you have to hit the enter key. If I hit the arrow key, it's going to go to 0. That's not what we want. So we got to put 14.25, enter. Okay, then hit the arrow key down. And now it says 0. Why does it say 0? Because we haven't hit compute yet. Compute. And it tells us that the IRR, the internal rate of return, is 13.403%, which again is the rate at which those future cash flows discounted back at that rate equals 0. That's the answer to problem number 2. Let's do problem number 3. Okay. Problem number 3 reads, Winterwear is considering a 5-year project with an initial cost of $211,000. The project will produce cash flows of $56,500 a year over the life of the project. What is the net present value? Now they're not asking IRR, they're asking net present value if the required rate of return is 15.8%. So we know there's an initial cost of $211,000. Then for 5 years you get cash flows of $56,500. So let's do this with our calculator. Now we've got to clear everything was in there before. Let me go back the screen up a little bit. Okay, so remember, hit second CF. Now that you've got that, you want to go second CE to clear all that. Hit second time value of money just in case, and then hit second CE again. That clears everything. Okay, so the initial investment was $211,000. Is that a cash flow coming from you or out of your pocket? It's a cash flow out of your pocket. $211,000, that's your initial investment. Negative because it's money coming out of your pocket, not into it. Hit enter. There's only one CF0, so then you arrow down. It doesn't even ask you the frequency. Cash flow number 1. Now it tells you that you get $56,500 for the next 5 years. It says over the life of the project, which is 5 years, right? So let's put 56,500, enter. Arrow down, frequency. Now, do we want to do this 5 different times for CO1, CO2, CO3? Or do we just want to put 5 in there for the frequencies, 5 periods, enter? Okay, that's the easier way to do it. Okay, so arrow down. There's no CO2. Remember now, it took 5 of those, so it's doing the math for you. You don't have to worry about it. Net present value, and they said it's a 15.8% required return, 15.8%. Enter, arrow down, and it's giving us 0. That's because we got to hit compute. So they're telling us the net present value of their future cash flows is $25,136.01, because 0.99 is going to round to 1. So that's the net present value of all those cash flows discounted at 15.8% minus the initial investment of $211,000. That's the net present value. And that's problem number 3.